pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go to roll call.
Okay, roll call. We've got Paul Cassidy.
Here.
Tanya Hogan. Here. Beverly Rose.
Here.
John DeBoyer.
Here.
Mark Richard.
Here.
Roy Martin.
Here. Go to public comments. This is on agenda items only.
Can I make an agenda amendment, please?
Motion to amend the
Go
agenda.
ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we remove the OHM bills from the bills payable and discuss it under 1J.
Support. Any discussion at this point? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. All right, we'll go to public comment.
Good evening, I'm Gary Yennerlich. I'm an attorney for Matt Vermeulen. It's with reference to item 1E, the property at 3490 Fruit Street. I would just say procedurally this, that in the past I've been in contact with the Township Attorney Chris Anderson. I've been in contact with people from Eagle. Back on August 2nd, 2005, Eagle sent a letter to Matt, and it said they had been out there and inspected the property. During the inspection, the DEQ discussed with you the proposed usage of the property and concerns related to the prior usage of the property as a landfill. Based on the inspection, the property has been determined to be in compliance with Part 115 of the State of Michigan Environmental Protection Act. They also said that the storage of impervious material above grade for pole barn or other things would be an improvement over the current condition. Part of the requirement, because it was a prior landfill, you have to maintain the cap on it. The landfill sinks periodically, so you have to bring in aggregate material and soils to maintain that property. In the past, I also pointed out to Eagle and the township officials that under your township ordinance, when the neighboring parcel was approved for mining of aggregate material, sand and gravel, that they were to maintain a 75-foot setback from excavation within 75 feet of the common property line between that algonac sand and gravel and my client's property, which they failed to do, and I brought that to the attention of Clay Township officials in the past. They probably mined within 10 feet of that common property line. That caused my client's property to lose its lateral support. That's why it's in your ordinance that you have to maintain a 75-foot setback if you're having a mining operation. I have visited the site several times in the past. I visited this afternoon just before I came here. It appears that the algonac sand facility is filling in their property where they mined the material, so that is in a slow process of reestablishing that lateral support. It still appears, I didn't get out of my car, that they're still several feet below the grade of Mr. Vermeulen's property, and Mr. Vermeulen has created a berm on his property to keep his surface water from flowing to that lower piece. So if your township attorney or code enforcement officer wanted to contact me in the future to discuss the status of the property or visit the property, because I've suggested that in the past. I suggested that to the Eagle people. They wanted to do it, but then it never fit into their schedule, and I haven't heard from Eagle for several months. I think they've been back out there and feel that my clients made improvements that are appropriate given the history of the property.
All right, that is 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Generally, what I've done is, when we have an agenda item like that, if we need to, we'll call you back up during that agenda item discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Gerald Zamborowski. I live and work at 4053 Point Trumbull. I'll go fast. I want to go over 3 minutes here. And I have an unusual request. I was here last Wednesday of last week, and when the bids were opened and reviewed to demolish a house that I own on the corner of Island Drive at 9652 Island Drive, I was present and surprised when my own contractor's bid was written for a larger amount than I had contracted him to do the job for several months. I did tell him to put on the brakes of the operation at one point when somebody came to me and his house burned. He was in the process. He built the house. No, he built a different house. He put $130,000 into it, and his father passed away, and the father of the father, his grandfather, in other words, would not sell him the house when he completed it, even after building the house with his own money and his own labor. So this guy came to me saying, this is my situation. I've already been through a big lawsuit about it. I lost, and I need a place to live for my family. We live at the state park right now. It's ridiculous to do that. I'll do your repairs here at this house. And so I told my contractor to hold off for a while. I had people in there removing the trim work, baseboard, door jambs. A couple of windows were taken off. I myself was in there taking out the plywood to use at another location. And I was considering this guy's offer to let him stay there, and I would get another building permit instead of a demolition permit. I already had a demolition permit. And so when a tragedy happened in his family, some toddler was reaching over the tabletop from standing on the floor, and he poured a scalding cup of hot water on himself. So that put the kibosh on that situation. He was beside himself. I didn't hear from him. I finally said, it sounds like you're not interested any longer. So getting down to the point of my being here, I was here last Wednesday when the 4 bids were opened, made public, and they were all very close. But my own contractor's bid was $10,000 more than what I expected it to say, even though it wasn't intended to be any difference in actuality. The deal I had with my contractor, we had been friends for decades, and he said, you give me $5,000, you cover all the costs, I don't have to worry about it, and I'll take the house down. I said, so sounds good. The building inspector said it was a steal of a deal, so I thought, okay, that's good. So it would be $5,000 to him. I pay for the dumpsters and the removal of the concrete and the fill dirt and whatever other costs are on the project. Easy peasy. But when the bid was read, he apparently, my client doesn't type, he had his wife do it, and there was a miscommunication between the three of us, and it said $15,000. Well, he said, I can do it for that, but this is what I'm asking. Even though 15 wasn't the lowest bid, and we all know, I think, that you don't have to decide and accept the lowest bid. There was one for $13,500, one for $14,400.
Jerry, I have to cut
Yes.
you off.
Oh, my time's up?
Yeah, but
Okay.
like
Come back
I told
later?
Mr. Kendernellick,
Yes,
at
I
the
can come
time
back.
we hold comment on it, perhaps you can add to it at that.
I would be happy to. Thank you very much.
So I believe in facts, rules, and doing things the right way. And until I see that this board is operating that way, I'll keep waving the red flag as I am today after seeing once again the OHM invoices are tucked in among legitimate bills payable. Since the OHM invoices are being paid with federal ARPA dollars, the federal government is the funding source.
which means it's their rules, not the townships, that decide whether you can legally spend that money. Under U.S. Treasury rules, ARPA funds had to be lawfully obligated by December 31st of '24, meaning there had to be a binding enforceable contract by that date. But the contract Mr. Cassidy secretly signed with OHM on December 30th wasn't approved by the board, so it wasn't legally binding and didn't meet the Treasury's definition of obligated. He later claimed it was ratified in March, but by then the federal deadline was long gone. There's also a rule requiring a federal procurement process for ARPA-funded projects. For months, I've asked through FOIA to see the township's procurement policy and the policy used for this contract. Unbelievably, they had no records to send. If there's no record of that process, that's a major federal compliance problem. It's Mr. Cassidy's job to show the board exactly what procurement process he followed. If he can't, then the township has no proof it's eligible to use ARPA money for OHM payments. Tanya knows I've raised this kind of concern before, like when Maureen was reimbursed $18.71 for a mailing without clear supporting documentation. If the township can't back up a claim for $18.71, there's no way it should be paying over $80,000 to OHM without proving the federal rules were followed. So, until Mr. Cassidy goes back to his secret room where he signed a secret deal and produces a secret procurement process he used for the OHM contract, those invoices should sit unpaid right on his desk next to all his other secrets. For months, we got the silent treatment when we asked about this contract. Mr. Cassidy was in no hurry to discuss the matter, so each of you certainly should not be in any rush to spend ARPA dollars until you know you have the legal right to do so. Because at this point, the only thing more secret than the contract is how anyone thinks this passes a federal audit.
There's no further public comment. We'll go to supervisor's report.
Bills
I would
payable
like to
is
inform
first.
the
Payable,
public-
are we gonna do
Bills
bills
payables before
Oh, I'm
supervisor's
sorry.
report.
I went a little ahead of myself. Go to bills payable.
I will make a motion to pay bills payable with the new amount of $117,699.45.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I do have one question. Rosso Group, January 25th class for 205, what is that?
Was never paid.
That was a bill we found. I attended the class. Jerry was supposed to attend that class, and he never showed up, and then we found the bill that was never paid all this time later, and they would like their money because he took a spot and never went.
So that was a training class?
Yes.
Okay.
It was for records retention.
Okay. And then Manor Consortium. So I see there's two bills in bills payable. What is our total to them? Not to put you in the spot, Bev, but what is our total that we've paid to them? And is that, where does that bring us up to date as far as our reconciliation?
I can tell you that I have a bill sitting on my desk for an additional $6,000.
On top of these two, 2593?
On top of those two.
Okay.
There was $22,000 that was allotted for this project. We're at about $19,000.
Including the six?
Including the six.
Okay.
And they are stopped. They are finishing April, and they are stopped.
So they're only up to April still? That's as far as they go? Okay, thank you.
But I've stopped them.
Any further discussion? Take a roll call.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Beverly Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin.
Yes. All right, we'll hit the supervisor's report now. Under Governor Whitmer's latest budget, local communities will no longer receive road funding from the state. All road funding will be directed to each county, which can then distribute it as it sees fit. St. Clair County has communicated that it will provide Clay Township $131,391 in funding next year. Only 4 other communities will receive more funding than Clay, as the money is calculated on the number of road miles in each township and the population of the community. And so they have this formula that I've looked over. Also, communities will no longer receive state revenue sharing as they have in the past. Clay will receive $22,000 less than they did in the past. Senate Bill 381 is pending in the Senate. The bill will allow communities such as ours to establish a second downtown development authority on Harson's Island in Sans Souci. We hope that the bill will be passed and signed into law early next year. We also are addressing on a resolution on refurbishing the sewage treatment plant in Algonac. I don't think anybody would complain that it's just in much need of repair. The plant was operated by the county up until a couple of years ago. It was then taken over by Ira Clay and Algonac. Unfortunately, no money was set aside for future repairs and upgrades. It's estimated, and I see that there's a resolution here, that it would be about $12 million that has to be spent on it. It's anticipated that Clay and Ira will pay 35% each of the cost. The authority would like to bond the necessary work with each community, pledging full faith and credit on each board on the bonds. As everyone knows, Clay is presently making substantial improvements to its water and sewer infrastructure, which I anticipate will increase each resident's water bill by an anticipated $18 per bill, or $6 per month. And the same can be true about the sewer lines. It'll increase, I believe, by $18 a bill, or $6 per month. I see that this is an agenda item, and I'll talk about it more at that time, but I think we should get a little bit more information before we vote on that resolution. As people know, we voted to move forward on the sewage treatment plant on Harson's Island. I've also been in communication with SEMCOG to attempt to acquire funding for a bike trail on the mainland along M29 where feasible, and on M50 on Harson's Island. Hopefully something will materialize. I've been going back and forth with the gentleman there, and obviously all of that we contingent upon what we can and can't do based upon what obstacles we would face to put that bike trail. I brought it to the attention of our DDA here on the island, because this is a DDA area. Mr. Bryson spoke at that, explained to us some other trail that's up on Perch, but it's still just an idea, and trying to look into it, see what we can do. Obviously, Eagle has kind of a say in everything, so I don't know what Eagle's position would be on this. I have nothing further.
Question, Mr. Supervisor. That $131,000 in road money from the county,
Yes,
is that,
it's not a match.
it's not a match?
So, how much they'll give us.
So the match money would still be available,
Well,
or?
I don't know about that. I just know that they've agreed that they will pay us non-match money of $131,000.
Okay.
All right, we'll go to the consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the board-approved bills from 10/14/25, the in-between meeting bills, the Board of Trustees meeting minutes from the 10/14/25 meeting.
Support.
Any discussion? Take a vote, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll go to new business. The appointment of a new trustee. I know there's one gentleman that sent in his background and so forth. I really think this should be tabled for only one reason, and that is the public should be made aware of who the potential candidates are, and they could come and speak at a public meeting, and so they think that's a good idea to appoint so-and-so over someone else. And that's the only comment I would have on it. So do we have a motion on the appointment of a new trustee? Well, then I hope that we can at least table this so that we can publicize potential candidates.
We've already interviewed
So,
everyone.
I know we have, but the public doesn't know who's being considered and who doesn't, who's not being considered.
Then I'll make a motion that we appoint Sarah Clements to the new trustee position.
I'll
Support.
second.
All right, well, apparently my concerns don't matter there, so we'll take a vote. Roll call. Unless there's further discussion.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. Paul Cassidy?
No.
Beverly Rose?
Yes.
Roy Martin?
Yes.
John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to 1B, Waterworth Annual. I'm not sure this is well, do we have a motion on this?
I will make a motion to pay our annual invoice of $7,485 split between water and sewer GLs for the Waterworth.
I'll support it, and I have a question. So this looks like it was dated July 22nd. So was that the end of our subscription on that date?
Yes, this was one of those that were found in the email that weren't paid.
So this was a bill that wasn't paid,
Correct.
that was due on July 22nd?
Correct.
Okay, so did our subscription with Waterworth lapse then?
No, we still have it.
Okay,
Bev and I have set up a meeting with them November 12th. So we're going to meet with them and get all the information we need. But they are still continuing to work with us.
okay.
My only concern is they do provide us with assistance to set water and sewer rates based upon projections in the future, but I think we've already done that. And I don't know that we need to.
We have done it?
Well, haven't we taken a vote to say we'll go and increase the water rate by $18 and the
You mean
sewer rate by $18?
You mean the debt charge?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that discussion.
That's what they're going to.
I understand that. We had that discussion,
Yeah.
but, I mean, I'll be honest with you, one of my questions right now as we sit here is typically in the past, before October, November, we address our water and sewer rates for next year's budget.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done that. This software is critical for determining what those rates should be. You know, as we get to the Southwater sewer plant upgrade discussion, that would be critical too, so that we know we're funding our projects properly. So, you know, I think this software is very valuable, and I understand they support it, but, you know, once you get familiar with it, we have the ability to go in and input our numbers and do all that in-house with this software.
But shouldn't the Southwater sewer plant, shouldn't they be the ones to use this program to make it an expense to them?
Well, I
Not
think
just
every
an
entity
expense-
needs to
and
use
Not just
it.
an expense to our.
I think we can have that discussion when we get to that agenda item, but that's not the way I see it, no. I would disagree with you,
All
Paul.
right, okay.
And I'll explain to you why when we get there.
Okay, all right.
from my understanding, this is a great source to help with that. They will take every project we have going on and give us a 10-year projection of where
Yes.
we need to be.
Yes.
And in the situation we're in now with all these projects, I think that's a very valuable source for us to keep using, because if I recall, the township had had a situation where they had to do a freeze on wages, and Waterworth came in and helped us get out of that.
Right.
So I think this company is extremely worth it if we can sit down with them and get them all the proper information to keep us on the right path.
Right. For those items, and also when you punch in your capital improvement plan, which projects out 5 and 10 years, you can cover all your future costs, not just infrastructure projects, but all those costs. So it's very important,
I
yes.
just want to add that I did meet with them a couple times via Zoom,
Mhm.
gave them our numbers, and they were satisfied. In fact, their numbers were similar to ours.
When you say they were satisfied,
They
explain.
were satisfied that those were good numbers, that we,
Really?
you know, yeah,
Because I don't think that's what they do.
well, when I talked with them, and
They're strictly a software company.
I went over, well, they were going to do projections, as Tanya has mentioned.
Mhm.
And I told them, I said, look, here's our debt service, here's what we're thinking. And they said that's probably basically what we would come up with.
Well, I
it
think
is a
that's a
software,
conversation.
so
I'm
we
sorry?
should be able to we should be able to go in and see it then.
I think that's a conversation that we should have with our auditors using the software, not with the software company. I just want everybody to understand what this is.
Yeah.
This is software. This isn't an economic advising company or auditors or anything like that. This is software that we punch in our numbers and we get the answers using this software.
All right.
So this software tells you in 5 years what the wages are going to be for the water department and
Well, you can punch in all your expenses, your infrastructure
predicts the-
projects, your capital improvement plan, and it will tell you where your rates should be, where your fees should be, yes.
right, all right. That's,
And it'll project out. I'm not sure, Tanya or Bev, do you guys know how far it projects? I know it goes at least 10 years.
I just know at least 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they can do further than that. I only sat in the one meeting and learned that information. So we can, but on November 12th, Bev and I can ask that and figure out how far in the future it does go.
Just off the cuff, you think that's driven by AI?
I don't believe so, but I don't know that.
Okay.
Could ask that question, I'm sure, but I don't believe
We
it.
had a motion, right?
Yes.
And so we'll take a vote. All in favor, aye?
Well, it's over,
Oh, it's over.
we gotta do a roll call.
Go ahead.
Tanya Hogan, yes. Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Beverly Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin,
yes.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Richard.
Yes.
We'll go to annual BS&A software invoice. I don't have a copy of how much.
I have it.
11,524. Is that what you got?
Yes. $11,524, and it is split between all departments, except for building. We'll be getting a separate bill for that. And this BS&A software is the software that we do everything in the township on.
Any discussion?
We need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we pay BS&A software $11,524.
I'll second.
All right, discussion. All right, roll call.
Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Beverly Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin,
Yes.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Richard,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes.
We've got digital, number 1D, digital muni invoice, 5,000, to be split between water and sewer. We have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we pay Digital Muni $5,000 split between the departments.
I'll second.
Is there an explanation on this?
It was the booklets that were made up on the bond that we just passed.
So was it just the booklets, or was it the administration of it, or was it just the book?
Just the booklets.
Oh,
I will do roll call.
Beverly Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin.
Yes.
John DeBoyer,
yes.
Mark Richard.
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. Paul Cassidy,
Yes. Go to 1E. Timeline for 3490 Fruit Street, property violation. Do we have a motion on this?
I am going to make a motion that we move forward and pursue circuit court for this situation.
I'll support.
Any discussion?
What was the motion again?
To move forward with the process to go to circuit court with Christine Anderson as our representative.
And this is based on Eagle violations, or is this a township violation, or?
So we had recently received some complaints, and then it was brought to my attention, and that's how we have this timeline that we shared, that there was prior complaints, there was some notices sent. We were supposed to be presented with an approved site plan, and it never happened. The change of office happened, and all this information was presented to the supervisor, and nothing moved forward with it, and now we're getting complaints again, and we should have moved forward to circuit court back in November.
Okay, well, I want to comment and say that all those complaints were all in 2024, long before the new board took office. And all of them were discussed with Eagle. And the complaint here is, I assume, should only be for this past claimed violation of October 20th. I don't know how you go a whole year and then say, okay, well, now we're going to go after all this.
Well, he should have an approved site plan, and he hasn't presented that either.
If he's doing work on it, if he's not doing any work on it. why
Can't
is
do
he-
work on it without approval of the site plan.
If he's not doing any work,
Well, now
why does he
here,
need a site plan?
okay, but now we're receiving complaints on this, and this is something that should have been addressed, that was put into your hands and was never addressed.
Oh, no, don't say that, because I did look into it, and I went to the site several times, and I talked to the Hobigs, and I talked to the Klingenbergs. Well, I didn't just decide not to do something. I looked into it. I don't think it was valid then, I don't think it's valid now.
So you think that he should have a commercial property with no site plan, and then we're getting complaints of trucking coming into it, and we should just not do anything?
A lot of commercial properties around here that don't have site plans because they're not doing anything.
But there's complaints now that trucking is going in and out of there.
Those complaints were made about the Hobigs too, and it's true about the
Well,
Hobigs.
we're not talking about the Hobigs, we're talking about Fruit
No,
Street.
we don't talk about the Hobigs, we let them violate the ordinance.
Has there been correspondence from Eagle to the township in regards to this?
I read some correspondence a long time ago, I don't recall, but the correspondence, my recollection was Eagle was going to handle it. That's what I remember. If there was an Eagle violation, they were going to handle it.
So
And I think Mr. Bryson might remember that.
So they wouldn't communicate with us on that?
All I know is the last
Nothing.
time I looked at it a year ago, and there was,
So nothing recently from Eagle
No.
to the township?
no, nothing at all. The only complaint was just made October 20th, and I thought we'd go through the steps. Go send out a letter and,
Well, he was already at the final letter stage.
yeah, if you want to, listen, this just looks like you're targeting this guy. That's
We're-
what it looks like.
No, this does not look like we're targeting anybody. It looks like we're following policies and procedure that were set forth by the township that were not followed through with before.
Do we have a written report from Mr. Barrow on these violations? Do we have one from Bowman? Do we have a written report?
That is who
Gary,
brought
you have
this
a
to my
written report on
attention.
We put out all the paperwork on this, Mr. Supervisor, and we gave you all the paperwork that needed. All we were asking for was to get an approved site plan, like every other commercial property needs to go through. Go to the planning commission, get your approved site plan, and And if you can operate under the conditions that the planning commission set forth, so be it. That's where we are at. It's not about violations, this or that. It's about getting an approved site plan like every other commercial business has to do.
Except ones that are not doing anything commercially, right?
Commercial properties are required to have a site plan.
If they want to improve them, if they want to do construction on them. Not just because it's commercial that you got to have a site plan.
So, Gary, is this two issues? Is this a site plan not filed and dirt being hauled in that shouldn't be, or is this one issue?
Well, in my opinion, this business should not be operating because it does not have an approved site plan from the planning commission. We don't know what's being trucked in. We don't know any of that. And that's where the perimeters set by the planning commission will decide what type of materials can be brought in, if any at all. I know their attorney spoke about a cap. This is far beyond capping an old landfill. And we don't need to get into that at all. But what has been at issue, back in last November, we went through all the process and procedures to get this into compliance by simply getting an approved site plan to operate. That's all we were doing. We don't pick on anybody to say, you can't do this or you can't do that. That's provide the information to the planning commission so that they can set the perimeters and they can decide what business can and what business is allowed to operate at that site.
Mr. Kidernelli, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I made my comments.
Okay. All right.
So, if this goes to circuit court, what is our goal? What are we trying to achieve?
If you're asking me,
Yeah, Gary, if you've got it, for sure.
We're looking, obviously, to get an approved site plan. That's all we've been after since last November, for sure, and before that. But it came to a head in November because we used up all of our resource, and then it had to come to the board to get approval to go litigate it in circuit court because it went on deaf ears before that. And so that's primarily what we were after. Now, currently, they are trucking in dirt from a IRA project. We know that to be true. We received a complaint, a couple of complaints based on that fact. And so it is operating. And so, we'd really like to say if the attorney is correct or the supervisor is correct that there's nothing going on there, then, let's, lock the gate and make sure nothing's going on there until we can litigate this thing.
So what was the purpose of the dirt being hauled in again? Anybody know? I know back in the day when he was approved for that sand pit operation that he was going to put a berm up of dirt.
That was Hovick's request.
Yeah. Are we sure that's not it?
No.
I think we should find out exactly what the dirt is being used for and do a little bit more investigation on it.
I agree with you. Wait, got anything to add?
Sounds like it must hand it down to us. Yeah, I say just table it, and if that's what they're looking for, a site plan, and
What do you think? Mr. Rose, anything?
I think we give them 30 days to get a site plan.
Do you have a motion then?
Well, I made a motion to move forward to circuit court, so
Did anybody support that?
Bev
Yeah, I
did.
Yep.
Yeah, so we could discuss
Can you
this.
repeat your motion?
Motion is to move forward with circuit court legal action against Matt Vermeulen and his property.
To achieve, to acquire a site plan?
Correct.
Is that like, we've exhausted all means and,
From my understanding, this has been going on for a
your
year,
opinion,
and they
Gary?
have, there's been multiple requests for it, and it has not shown up in over a year.
okay.
Well, he's a commercial operation. Sure, he's going to bring in dirt and other products or whatever the case may be. We're going to ask him for a site plan every time he wants to bring in a log.
He doesn't have a site plan at all on file. There's never been a site plan.
Well, it was back in 2020.
For Matt Vermeulen's.
No, not from you, for Holbrook.
We're talking about,
we're talking about-
we're talking about Vermeulen's.
All the same thing.
Well, it's two different
Separate
properties.
But it's an issue between the neighbors, that's for sure.
So in your opinion, Gary, all options have been exhausted and this is where we're at?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
We'll do a roll call.
Beverly Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin,
Yes.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
No.
Tanya Hogan, yes. Paul Cassidy,
No. Okay. Bids for demolition of 9652 Highland Drive. We had those bids that were presented. I know Mr. Zambrowski was hoping to have his own guy that bid it, but I don't know that anything's happened. Do we have a motion on this?
Is this another case that we've exhausted all means and this is where we're at?
yes.
Yes?
Yes.
This has been going, this case has already gone to circuit court, and we're at the demolition process now. It's been going on for over a year as well. So now we just need to pick which company is going to do the demo.
Do we have a motion on this?
I'll make a motion that we hire Tuzanowski Landscaping for the low bid, $13,875.
I'll second.
May I address the board?
If you'd like, Jerry, come on back up, you can say.
Okay. I thank you for the time earlier, so I would have a chance to set the information in place. What my purpose at this point is to be able to explain and hopefully have you understand that this is a win-win situation that I am proposing. Win for the township and a win for myself, both. The building permit that I had is no longer being pursued. I even had a demolition permit myself, and that expired while the person was trying to get his figures together to tell me exactly what he was going to do to the house and how much it was going to cost and so on. That's out the window now, too. So what my longtime contractor on other projects, and I agreed to, we had a contract where he would take the house down, I pay him $5,000, I cover all costs. It wouldn't cost the township anything to achieve their desire to have that house removed, even if it is fixable, even if it was a reasonable thing to do, and of course, reasonable minds can differ on that, but that's out the window and not up for discussion at this point either. The point I wish to make is there were 4 bids, I believe, and they were like 13.5, 14.4, 950, $50 less, and 15,000, and then 16,000 something. What I'm saying is that the deal I had with my contractor, somehow something went wrong when he put it in writing, or his wife did, and submitted it. When I found out, it was the day of the reading, and I was here to explain that and make the point clear that the bid between me and the contractor was that he would get $5,000 I would cover all the costs, the job would be done, everybody's happy, everybody's satisfied. The township waited for getting the money to pay for this, but they wouldn't have to pay any money to have this accomplished, because the contractor and I have this agreement that he gets covered, the dumpster costs get covered, the removal of concrete costs get covered, the fill dirt costs get covered, nothing left. House gone, nothing left for the township to pay. It's a win-win situation. Win for the township, they get the job done, they pay nothing. I have nothing against Tuzanowski. I think normally you would want the lowest bid to go, but this is likely to be even lower than that yet, according to what my contractor indicates to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would only say this. This matter has been pending for a long time with a circuit court judgment, quite some time. I would say that if the board wanted to, they could agree to take the low bid as voted upon with a simple reservation that if this is accomplished by Mr. Zambrowski within 30 days, we won't contract with him.
Can I say something?
Otherwise, we should.
I live next door. Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
He's playing games. He's not going to do anything. He hasn't put a nickel in that house in 5 years that I've been there. Cuts the grass 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
When he was taking the house down, it was him over there doing it.
Okay.
He took the windows out, he took a bunch of plywood, threw it out in the backyard, so I had to look at it. I moved it to the other side of the house. He's playing games.
All right. Thank
So-
you, sir.
so you said this is-
Speak up at 3 minutes, but
I'm sorry.
that's okay. No, I understand your frustration. So we have a motion.
And we have a second.
So-
We have a second.
So you said this has been ongoing for quite some time.
Yeah, it has been.
My only question would be, if this was going to be Mr. Zambrowski's plan, why hasn't it occurred?
It's
to this
a valid
point.
question.
Okay. We've given him more than enough time that this is,
Yes.
We had a judgment for quite some time.
okay.
It's been over a year. He's had multiple chances. Like, we went through the whole process, like our whole policy process, which takes time to even go to circuit court, where he had time to demo the house. And then we had almost a year in circuit court to get the judgment, and now he's had almost 2 years. We're at the end of our rope.
Okay.
Like, this is the next move.
All right, so we'll take a vote.
If I may say something, this
Well,
demo
hold on.
wasn't in the
We're
process.
not going to
for
debate
years.
it back and forth. We know the positions. Thank you, Jerry. I guess we'll do a roll call.
All right. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Beverly Rose?
Yes.
Roy Martin?
Yes.
We'll go to 1F, I'm sorry, 1G, authorizing participation in improvements to water and sewer treatment plant. I think we got a resolution. Did you? give
So,
us a
so this resolution is basically stating that Clay Township supports moving forward with the engineering portion of the sewer plant upgrade. That the engineering portion is $1,345,000, which is to be split between the 3 communities. Clay Township's portion, 35% would be $470,000, and $470,750. Fishback Engineering, who is Southwater's engineering firm, has agreed to allow the municipalities to pay that in 12 monthly payments, interest-free. And that engineering would take approximately 12 to 15 months to complete. So at that point, if the authority decides to move forward and issue bonds, this resolution addresses that and says that Clay is pledging its full faith and credit towards those debt obligations. Algonac and Ira Township are entertaining the same resolution at their upcoming meetings. And, at that point, if all three communities are on board, then we would move forward. Dan Schechter, who was from Fishbeck Engineering, and Brian Roy, who is the plant superintendent, is also here tonight if we had any questions or issues on this agenda item.
The only question I have is, has anybody done an assessment of delinquencies by Clay Township or Ira or Algonac to know if there's any problem with delinquencies? If we're going to pledge full faith and credit, and they are too, I think we would all want to know is what the delinquency rate is or amount, if there is any.
Are you talking
in the
about-
three communities?
Are you talking about with their customers, the
Yeah,
three
for
communities' customers?
Yeah.
No. But I would say that that's not the authority's responsibility. That would be the three communities' responsibility.
I would disagree with you, but
Okay.
we can still look into it, don't you think?
Expand on your point.
Well, the point I'm making is that if Clay has an inordinate amount of debt as a result of non-payment, or IRA, or Algonac, before we full faith and credit, before they do too, it'd be nice to know that there is not a hidden problem here down the road, that we all of a sudden find out that, okay, Clay can't pay, is Algonac and IRA going to pay, or if IRA can't pay, Algonac and Clay going to pay? It's my only concern.
Well, and I think that's part of the three communities pledging their full faith and credit, that all three, should be or must be on board to proceed.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I would agree with you on that.
I just wondered, is there any kind of delinquency rate or non-payment that we should be aware of? That's all. Regardless who's voting full faith and credit, if we're all going in as partners, we ought to all know how we stand as partners. That's the way I look at it.
Do we have a delinquency rate amongst our customers, sewer customers in Clay Township? I'm not aware of any issue there.
I'm not aware of one either,
Okay.
but I don't know about the other two communities as well, right? That's my only concern.
No, and that's warranted, but keep in mind, this is a resolution for Clay Township.
That's right.
The other two communities will have to address that within their own communities. And I would say that if we were to move forward with this and say, yes, we're in support and we pass this resolution, Clay Township should look at Waterworth and funding mechanisms to help pay for not only engineering, but if we were to bond in the future.
I will make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-18, authorizing participation and improvements to the wastewater treatment plant.
I'll support that.
Did anybody have any questions for Brian or for Dan? No.
We went to the meeting, so we're pretty good.
All right, we'll do roll call.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Beverly Rose?
Yes.
Roy Martin?
Yes.
John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Go to 1H, superintendent contract, Lance Seeley. I do think that I did talk to Lance, and he still intends to leave at the end of the year. Lance? Could you lower your microphone? Sure. I'm sorry. I don't know who puts them way up here. I didn't never pay attention, but is that true, Lance? You still plan on, or do you plan on staying longer, do you know?
I'm planning on staying longer.
Oh, you are? Okay. All right. Any motion on this superintendent contract?
I will make a motion to approve the superintendent contract for the next 2 years.
Support.
Sorry about.
All right, roll call?
Tanya Hogan? Yes. Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Beverly Rose?
Yes.
Roy Martin?
Yes.
John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Okay, 1J, discussion of hostile work environment.
I make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss the hostile work environment.
I'll support.
I don't think we can legally do that.
If we're discussing an employee, we have
Yep.
to.
That's not what the law says, though.
The
She made a,
employee
there was
made
a
a
request
request.
made in
It's
an
not her
open
request,
meeting.
It's a person accused that can make the request, not the person that's making the accusation. It's right here in the law.
Okay, well then we won't go to closed session. I make a motion that we hire HRM Services to investigate the hostile work environment complaints for a cost of up to $47.50.
I'll support that.
Discussion, my discussion is, has anybody seen an actual complaint?
You should have, if you checked your email.
Yeah, I mean an actual complaint, not just accusations, a complaint, a factual statement.
Well, that's why you do an investigation.
You don't do it in the,
I believe everybody is aware of the complaint. There's been multiple incidences
I think
right
it's
here in an open meeting.
a huge waste of money. Huge waste of money.
I would-
She has the options of going to the EEOC or to hire an attorney. Those are her options. She's not even governed under her contract for any of this. Doesn't speak of this at all in her contract. So you want to spend money for no reason, I guess you can.
Well, I wouldn't say it's for no reason. I think, number one, it's our obligation to complete this investigation.
Absolutely.
And I think it protects the township in multiple ways to potential lawsuits.
Why not have somebody investigate it that knows the law, right? Number one, none of these are attorneys here.
This is what this firm does, from what I can see.
Yeah.
That's their specialty.
I'd love to see the actual written complaint with specific statements of fact as to what took place.
Well, I think the investigation determines what are facts and what aren't facts, and what took place and what the timeline is.
Let's
Pardon me?
suppose her allegations in the complaint that she alleges are not legally sufficient.
That's the
It'll
point
all
of
come
an
out in this investigation,
investigation.
then, and we'll know.
What can come out before the investigation? If she writes a statement.
Why would we
She
not
wrote a
want-
letter to the whole board
A statement of fact.
and read it.
Two of them.
Well, that's what
Two
it
of
should
them.
be. That's what it should include. Should be a written statement of facts.
Well,
Are these people just going to start asking questions? Is that it?
they're probably gonna go around to the employees that were there and ask for their statements.
Well, that's part of the
If that's
investigation.
what I was doing if I was investigating that, I would ask for statements, witness statements that was there, and then that's where I would start from.
These are all HRM,
From what?
human resource
From her
professionals.
conclusions that she wrote, it does not satisfy the legal requirement of a hostile work environment. I read it. It does not meet the standard.
And you're an attorney, and that's an opinion, correct? And we all know what opinions are. So we can have an investigation, and we can come to a legal conclusion.
We
And
owe
we
it
can
to our
address it.
employees.
Take a vote, do it on a roll call.
Bev Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin,
Yes.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. Paul Cassidy,
Absolutely no. All right, we're going to go to 1J. Ms. Rose, you added this on, OHM.
Yes, I did. It's come up a lot, and I think we, as a board, owe it to make absolutely sure that these OHM bills are correct and being taken out of the ARPA funds without a penalty. By not ensuring this for us, for them, we have the potential to have to pay OHM, which is $150,000, and pay back ARPA, which is $150,000. So this feasibility study could end up costing us $300,000
Plus penalty and interest.
unless we are absolutely sure. I've got some emails out. I've got emails to the auditors. They could not get back to me today. They are going to research this, and I'm going to get a treasury decision on whether we can pay these with the ARPA funds.
Do you
That's
have a
why
motion on this?
I just want them delayed until we get it in writing.
So what would your motion be, Beth?
Well, let's just suppose they say you can't use ARPA funds.
Then we're going to have to figure out as a board where we're going to
Well,
take that
hang on a second.
$150,000 from.
So where do we come up, we got to pay them 150, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so why would we hold them hostage to a decision where we know we have to pay the
Well,
money?
you certainly weren't concerned about how we were going to pay for it in December.
Yeah, I was. As a matter of fact, I was. And guess what?
Well,
I got my legal opinions too
In December,
before I
you
did
weren't,
it.
but suddenly in March, when the lid
Do you
blew
have
off,
a
you were.
treasury opinion?
When-
Because that's what we're looking for. An
When we
opinion
pay
from the
bills,
treasury.
we have to code everything. If we pay these bills and code them under ARPA funds, then we,
Okay, so you want to hold them hostage?
Go ahead and finish, Tanya.
Go ahead.
if we code them under ARPA funds, and we find out after the fact that ARPA money cannot be used for that, we are in big trouble. And you cannot pay a bill without coding it and knowing what GL it's coming from. That is how municipalities work. Every fund, every bill has to come out of a certain fund. So it's setting us up for a potential until we have
If you
the
have
right
a
answer.
treasury's opinion on this, please share it. I've got no problem paying them. I just want to make sure that I don't have to redo the ARPA, have to pay that money back, have to pay a penalty, and then pull $150,000 out of a different line item.
Any further discussion?
Guess not.
Well, we don't have a motion on the
I thought
table.
your motion was to delay paying them.
Delay paying them
Yeah.
until we get, yes.
So how do you want your motion to read, Bev?
Delay paying them on a decision from UHY or Treasury.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries. Board member comments, or public comments, I'm sorry.
Evening, guys. Tough board tonight. My name's Steve Francis. I'm a resident on Harson's Island. Been here about 3 years now. I own a company called Country Smokehouse, Franny's Foods in mid-Michigan, Excavating. Do a lot of developing. I recently, well, it took 3 years, the building across from the ferry with the orange roof on it there. I've got a PO on that purchase order, but it took 3 years to get through environmentals. We did phase 1, 2, and 3, did some x-raying in the parking lot, found there's no tanks there because there was no history on the building as far as if it was ever cleaned up. Years ago, it was a meat market, Gorillos. Then there was another person in the Gorillos. So I'm here asking you guys tonight, I want to get rid of your eyesore and put something in the community that would do well in that building, another Country Smokehouse outlet store. Are any of you guys familiar with Country Smokehouse up in 53? It's a very well-known company out there. We've been in business for 40 years now. It burnt to the ground back in 19, we rebuilt it. So we have the purchase order on it before I sign it, finalize mine. They've already finalized their end. I called the building department, they said I needed a site plan. Well, I sit as a planning commission chairman in Elmont. I sat there for 18 years before I moved here. Also, the zoning board of appeals, I sat on that for 15 years before I moved to here. And they said I needed a site plan. I said, well, that's a mercantile building. It's zone C3 already. So I gave her an example. I said, so if you were to build a party store in the middle of a strip mall, that's a mercantile, would you require them to do a site plan and everything there? Obviously not. It's already been used as a precedent's been set that it was a meat market for years. Gorilla was very successful there before he moved out of town there. The other one, I guess there were some issues there. They didn't pull permits, or they didn't think legally, and they kind of got shut down too, that was in there before. So I'm here asking the board tonight what your thoughts are on this. We would like to move forward on this thing. Building's not changing. I know there's some money out there, grant money or facade money out there, maybe that the DDA has available, so I'm going to approach the DDA next, because we want to take the front of the building off because it's only got little asbestos, looks like brick, but it's not brick in the front of that building. Want to re-side it, clean it up. Nothing's going to change there. The building's the building, the parking lot's the parking lot. We're going to leave it exactly the way it is. We're going to put lipstick on it, clean it all back up, bring it back up to code the building. Obviously, building department's going to come in. We're going to have to do some things there. When we put a roof on, we'll pull building permits. We'll do everything the proper way. I built subdivisions too. I built many subdivisions, condo projects. So this is just kind of a pet project for me. I'd like to bring it to the community here, because the community here is looking for something. You have nowhere to buy good meat here in this community. You got Kroger. Elginak, I'm looking at a couple buildings in town there. They're bigger than I really want. I want this to just be an outlet store, where you can come buy sausage, jerky, typical beer, wine, but it'll be mostly smokehouse stuff there. Wild game, fillets, chicken breast, ground beef fresh and stuff like that there. I got 40 years in the business, so I think I know what I'm doing about it, how to run a business in the meat industry out there. So I'm kind of looking for a little direction from you guys so I can go on to the next level. Whether I sign the building permit or not, the purchase order and this thing kind of hinges on a meeting here. Typically, mercantile buildings that are already existing, you could lose a tenant one every 2 months. You could lose a tenant in 3 years from now. Well, the building's still the building. Nothing's changing. The use is still the same it was the use before. So I'm just looking for a little direction. I don't want to go out and spend all this money on a site plan review of what? The lot's there, the building's there, nothing's going to change. Sewer and water's already there, the parking's already there, it's all concrete in there. So there's really nothing that you're going to change on that site there other than make me spend more dollars that shouldn't need to be spent because it's a mercantile business. They come and go every day.
Is the building vacant now?
Yes.
And how long has it been vacant?
Well, I couldn't tell you. There was a lady cooking out of there a while back. Some lady 2 years ago or a year ago, she was out there cooking, and then she went over to up the road over here.
And we have an ordinance, if the building's been vacant for a certain amount of time, you need a site plan.
Okay, so you're telling me that up here, where in the middle of that plaza, say in the middle of any plaza you have here, if one of the middle tenants move out and somebody wants to move into that business, you're going to make them get a new site plan?
Well, it's a contrived situation, and that's what we're not talking about.
Okay. It's your choice, whether we come to your community or not.
So if you need a site plan, you need a site plan. Sorry.
Okay, well, welcome to the community.
So Tanya, we did already, you had put $50-some thousand of an invoice of OHM, so that one has already been paid. Let's be clear. Our township's financial situation has hit an iceberg, and while former Treasurer Galko was at the helm when it happened, he wasn't steering alone. This didn't happen in a vacuum. Galko's failure couldn't have gone this far without the failure of the clerk and the supervisor. The checks and balances the former board had in place were obviously discarded. We've already suffered real losses from poor leadership. Because Cassidy failed to read an email from the County Road Commission, our township missed out on a $100,000 matching grant for road repair, a gift of money that could have fixed streets we all drive on. That's incompetence. Even more troubling is the $150,000 in ARPA funds that were allocated to the Water Department for essential infrastructure, a trailer and a new building, but were instead diverted for a ferry feasibility study that the public never asked for. The Water Department eventually received money for the trailer, but it came from general funds or budget, not from the federal allocation intended for that purpose, and the building project remains untouched. Many of us have known about the integrity of Christie, our former township treasurer, for years. Tanya, you said that it says a lot about the person Christie is for wanting to come back and help our township after everything that she's been through. But what does it say about the people who put her and Cindy and Artie through a living hell with a smear campaign that you, Cassidy, and 3 others conducted while running for office? Because you were right next to Cassidy and Galka in that party of 5 who said, what are they hiding? Elect the primary winners and you'll find out. I do believe that Cassidy even financed your campaign. Well, the party of 5 may have won the election by accusing good officials of hiding something, but those lies almost cost us our township, and we want it back. Mr. Cassidy, you've had egg on your face so many times in the past year, you can no longer wash that stain off your face. That stain has now become your legacy, and it's not written in yellow. Instead, your legacy is written in red, the color of deficits, disorganization, and distrust. So you can keep sitting in that chair, but we all know that it's empty, replaced not by a man who sits through meetings with his phone in his face, but by your legacy that says he inherited a township with balanced books, functioning oversight, and stability. What he leaves behind is a fiscal mess so severe the audit can't even begin, a board divided, and residents questioning whether anyone's been watching the store. Instead of transparency, we got excuses. Instead of accountability, we got evasion. That's not leadership. That's a cautionary tale, and Mr. Cassidy, your legacy will be remembered exactly that, a cautionary tale.
Artie Bryson, Harson's Island. I wanted to talk about the algae wheel project you guys approved last meeting. Looking at the plan, it's not a real sewage treatment plant. You're only dealing with fluids and not solids there. The old plant had a big tank, collect the solids, and would treat it there. This is only water, liquids. Roy, I know you know more about it than me, but anyone that hooks up to this plant is going to have a septic tank to pull the solids out before they ship it to the plant, because the plant can't handle it. And it's I don't know, it's going to be it's going to be a big challenge. I'm pretty sure Eagle, you wanted to get it through, so hurry up and get done. Eagle's going to require a whole new permit for this because you're changing the whole process going forward, which, that's going to be a year and a half for Eagle for a new discharge permit at least. Basically, what I'm trying to get to you, when it fails, if it fails, I hope it doesn't. But this is not a Artie Bryson algae wheel plant. It's a Mr. Cassidy's design plant. And I myself would have tried to go and get some more money and do the $4 million plant that you could have hooked 100, 150 homes to, spread the costs out equitably between everybody, and it would have been a win-win situation. But that's not the road the township's going down. Waterworth, you should use a Waterworth program for this treatment plant on the island too. It'll be handy. Because I find it hard to believe that they can run this plant for $30,000 a year, and once Benish leaves, you're going to be stuck with more costs than you want. So, thank you. Congratulations, Sarah. Thank you. And I love your wreath store.
Well, you might not see it.
Well, I hope you do.
Good evening. My name is Heather Jacqua. I live at 9642 Island Drive, which is right next door to Mr. Zambrowski's home, which I like to call home of the Big Buford marketing sign over the boats all winter. First, before I jump into that, want to say that market that wants to come here, Old Country Smokehouse, we will happily drive an hour to that store. It is fantastic. They got the best hot dogs you've ever had in your life. That said, I want to just say some words solely based on Mr. Zambrowski's enthusiasm here tonight to try to still have a conversation about tearing down that house. suspect that he may try to, even though the board has made a decision tonight, which I am grateful for, and I applaud the entire board for that. We're very grateful. If there is further conversations on it, though, I just want to say that we've heard for several years now about his contractors are working on it. Well, we've had the pleasure of being over across the street having breakfast, watching his contractor working on the roof, urinating off the side of the house. It's just, it's done, and we are so grateful that it's done. We're happy to be there, and we will be happy when that house is leveled. That's it, thank you.
Bob Dudas, I just want to apologize for speaking out of turn and yelling a little bit, bringing a hostile work environment here. So I apologize to everybody on the board. I thank you for your decision, your decision tonight. I want to apologize to Mr. Zambrowski because I probably should have been yelling. So that's all.
If there's no further public comment, we'll go to board comments. Mr. DeBoyer.
So I'd just like to say welcome to Sarah Clements, and thank you for stepping up in your service to be on the board. And then one other issue I don't think we ever resolved was, I know the Benesh contract was approved at the last board meeting, but the operations portion of who operates that plant was TBD, to be determined. I think we need to address that as a board so that we know exactly where we're going with that, and either get solid costs or look at other options to operate that plant. So hopefully we can bring that back formally at some point in the near future and address that portion, because that was left in limbo. That's all.
I thought,
Mark, you have it?
Sarah, welcome to the board.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Welcome to the board, Sarah. And I did ask that question, and the owner, saying Susie there, he said that they had some kind of plan for that. I thought Paul was in on the plan of paying for that, so.
Okay, well, I think we need to address it formally as a board.
Right.
Yeah.
Tanya, anything?
Yes, welcome, Sarah. Thank you. About the Benesh contract, in our motion, we put that Christine, we're not signing until Christine Anderson reviews. She is reviewing it right now. I had a conversation with her before this meeting, and she has a lot of questions that she will be taking back, and that is one of the questions that she is addressing. So once I get more information from her, I sent her a little more information that they had sent us that we presented to the board at the last board meeting. She didn't have that. I sent that to her today. So she's going to go through everything, and then we'll discuss and bring back to the board to make sure, it is something that we're looking for, because it is a signature upon her approval. And then I also wanted to say I have been working with Burnham and Flower, because we're coming around insurance time. He doesn't have any definite bids for me yet, but he did not have great news, because insurance is increasing. For retiree health care, it's a possible 13% increase. For regular, it's a possible 9% increase. So I just wanted to make you guys aware. I don't have definite numbers yet or the bids, but he's working on them. I didn't want you to be blindsided. And that's all I have for today.
Ms. Rose?
Welcome, Sarah. I just want to remind everybody that we will not take bulk boxes of coins to pay your bills, so please don't leave them in the drop box, because I have somebody rolling $35 worth of coin to pay your water bill. Manor is finishing up with April, and then they're done. The asset forfeiture for the police department at my end has been completed. They're ready to go. Our reconciliations for November for the tax, investment account, DDA, and general are about 85% completed. I attended the DDA meeting. They named me their treasurer. There were some questions on where items were
your iPhone first.
in DDA, and I have located them. I enrolled and paid for myself. It was only $69. The MMTA reconciliation class, which is virtual this Thursday from 10 a.m. till noon. And the reason I paid for it myself is because the training budget for my department is about $1,400 in the hole. Got to do it.
All right, I would just comment that I'd like to see the smokehouse come in. I'll take a look at our policy. I know Mark mentioned that he's got to have a site plan, but I just want to double check that, because normally you don't do that. But if you have this policy in our community, because once a site plan is approved, it's generally good forever. But-
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that something DDA could possibly help him, if it's a cost issue, to bring him there? That's what that's actually for.
He called me the other day and I mentioned that to him.
All right, and go above and beyond the facade grant that's
Yeah.
available for it. That
Okay.
way,
He can go, yeah. And I'm sorry I chuckled when Mr. Bryson mentioned that this is now my sewer plant. Mr. DeBoyer, I would have looked into those issues before I would have grabbed the 2 million. You know, I mean, there was no feasibility. It looked like free money and a good deal, but I'm hoping that if this DDA law passes, that money on the DDA collected in San Souci can go toward helping pay for the expenses of operating that plant. So that's something that I think we should
I don't-
consider.
Yeah, that's a great idea, but keep in mind that the DDA takes multiple years to capture
No, I
money.
know that. I know
You know, and in the meantime, you still have to pay for those
Well, they're
operations.
going to run it for 2 years, right? Isn't that the agreement?
What I saw said to be determined, so
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, we haven't agreed how we're going to operate that plant.
Well-
So that's why I think we need to address all those
Yeah,
concerns.
I agree.
I would agree with you on that.
Okay, other than that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
I thought they were
Stay
bringing
up
somebody.
here.